Let me talk to you.
Biggest icon in wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me talk to you.
Welcome. We are live, ladies and gentlemen, for another Let Me Talk to You podcast, episode number 17. We are here. We're finally here. I'm trying to show this, but I can't. I guess I'm not getting any. What's going on? We're having some technical difficulties with the background. God damn it. What happened to my thing? I don't know what happened. All right, screw it, man. We're going to have to go with the soccer back. There we go. We'll talk soccer sometime throughout the show, but I'm sorry, guys. It's just I've been a little bit under the weather last night. I apologize to everybody on the Squared Circle Digest. I wasn't able to make it, unfortunately. Just had a really bad migraine, and I think my body spoke to me, Nick. I think my body finally said, you know what, Frankie, you need to just relax and just chill and just rest. And that's exactly what I did. And then unfortunately I I couldn't get to the show on time. And then when I woke up, I just passed out. And when I woke up, my migraine headache was doing a lot better, but I was still feeling it a little bit. But then I was able to talk to Sean and apologize to Sean, because it's definitely my fault. I wasn't able to get in touch with him and tell him about how I was feeling. But if you guys did not get a chance to watch the show yesterday, make sure you tune into my boy Sean Stanley, his channel, and definitely watch the show. I caught the replay, so I still, even though I wasn't on the show, I still supported by watching it. But what about you, Nick? How's everything going with you, bro?
What's up, everyone? What's up, Trap family? It's DiTrapio. Pretty good, man. Just trying to finish the school year strong, and I'm a couple of weeks from finishing my semester, so I got a midterm, so I got some studying to do this week. But overall, it's been good, man. It's been good.
Awesome, man. We're all busy, dude, right? You got school, I got work, and then some like work. It's been kicking my butt, and at the same time, it's like the DJ gigs have not stopped. So I've been blessed with the opportunity to have more and more gigs. There's a great opportunity that just happened tonight, so I want to thank my friend who got me that gig, and soon you'll see me DJing at a sporting event very soon. So but I'll keep that under wraps. You'll see it probably if you guys follow me on Instagram or on Twitter. But with that being said, let's give you the rundown of what we're going to speak about tonight. We got NXT. Some stuff happened last night, which was pretty cool. We're going to talk a little bit about some what's happening this weekend. We got a special card here in South Florida. The UFC 299 is going down. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also going to talk a little bit about boxing. We might have a guest during the boxing segment. And the reason we're talking a boxing segment, because that segment right there, we're going to talk about some controversy going on, or some like cuckoo stuff that we're actually noticing in social media with Ryan Garcia. And I kind of wanted to talk about it because it's been trending a lot on social media. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. We're also going to talk about the Dolphins. We haven't been paying too much attention to the Dolphins. Like, it's so slow season, but I know Christian Wilkins will talk about that, about John Smith. And we're also going to go ahead and speak about Isaiah Mack, who also got signed by the Dolphins. And then we'll talk a little bit about the Heat, and we'll finish it off with some soccer, some trade that happened last week. I think it happened. No, it happened on Monday. It happened on Monday.
It happened on this week, yeah.
It happened on Monday. So a trade that, unfortunately, we had to see one of our, I would probably say our best defender go out. But, Inter Miami has to save money some way, somehow, after they brought Messi and friends. So let's talk, and let's start a little bit about wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, we start with last night, of course, NXT. And we had the return of William Regal. He finally made face. And, the crazy part about that, Nick, is that when William Regal left AEW, he kind of had signed a contract with WWE where he wasn't going to show so much himself. Now this is the second time he shows up. I remember he showed up when Ava got promoted to be the general manager for NXT. So now he came out, but he only came out just to talk to the group, the new quarter catch crew. And particularly Charlie Dempsey, who had they had the Heritage Cup, and he just wanted to go out there and kind of speak his mind and say how he was very proud about that cup and how he really wanted that cup to be represented really well. And of
Mhm.
course, Charlie Dempsey was like saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna be here and all that stuff." And then he actually said, "Yo, I'm gonna outshine you and make sure that you know who I am." So it was kind of like taking a shot at William Regal, but then William Regal kind of at the end said, "Yo, I'll be keeping my eye on you." So it was nice to see William Regal. It was nice to see him interact. Let me ask you a question, Nick. Do you want to see William Regal more often on NXT, or do you think he should stay backstage and kind of like run the show backstage with Shawn Michaels?
Um, he's a big factor on what's going on with NXT, and I think I would like to see him more. Um, there's a lot going on in NXT, and I think just adding him would bring in more chaos. And so I like the interaction what he did yesterday, and just keep on catering onto that energy, because like I said, not many people are too fond with The Rock's daughter and how things are going with NXT and stuff. So they kind of want to put that to the side. So they're like, why not bring William Regal to kind of stir things up and kind of distract from everything else that's happening?
Absolutely. And the other two things that happened, I didn't mention. I had not put it on our template, but yesterday, Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin actually defeated Chase U.
Yeah.
So they were able to defend their belt, and that was actually a really good fight. I was a little bit disappointed that they made it for just a regular NXT. I would have thought they probably would have put in it on some type of pay per
Main
view
card.
or live event. That way we
Hmm.
could have seen it. Maybe you could have even put it. You could have actually put that fight maybe for the undercard in WrestleMania. But again, I mean, they went ahead. They went with that match, and it played out. It was really good. It was very entertaining. I thought it was really really good by NXT to go ahead and showcase those two groups, and I think they did a phenomenal job. And of course, the biggest blockbuster what happened last night was the return of Trick Williams. Sir Trick Williams, whoop, that trick came back, man. So Carmelo was going one-on-one with Tony D'Angelo, and he was, I like Carmelo because Carmelo now has his security guard, so he has like
Yeah,
four or
he has
five
like, bro, it's so funny. Like this guy has a whole posse full of people protecting him.
yeah.
And so he's like, I love this whole heel thing he's doing right now. It's hilarious.
So then, obviously, what happened in the match was that Tony D'Angelo was Carmelo was beating him, and then all of a sudden, you hear Trick Williams' music come out, and then Carmelo turns around and he's waiting for him because he's, oh crap, he's here, and then obviously he never shows up, and then all of a sudden, Tony D'Angelo, when Carmelo turns around, he's able to slam Carmelo and then beat him. And then
Mhm.
so that was a big win for Tony D'Angelo. And then afterwards, after the fight was over, Carmelo was upset. That's when we finally heard again the Trick Williams theme music. And then this time Trick did come out. He came from the crowd and obviously attacked Carmelo Hayes. And then now it's pretty much shut up, Nick. Trick Williams should be the next opponent for Carmelo. Carmelo and Trick need to settle the score. Um, I know Carmelo wants to go for the championship belt. I think by him losing to Tony D'Angelo, I think what ends up happening is that he doesn't get a shot at the belt right away. I
I
think
don't
Tony
think so.
D'Angelo. I think Tony D'Angelo is the one who gets a shot. I'm not sure if it's at the next um, live event, whether it's at, I believe the next live event for um, NXT is Stand and Deliver, and if it isn't Stand and Deliver, then I wouldn't be surprised if maybe, just maybe, there's a chance that they might put that fight on the
Hmm.
undercard of WrestleMania, because I did hear something about that as well.
Yeah, I was hearing how, like, when everyone saw how things were, meshing with Trick and Carmelo, people were saying, "Oh, Stand and Deliver is going to be the pay per view for this to kind of settle and figure out who wins out of that rivalry."
Yeah, and there, I mean, NXT delivered last night because you also had at the beginning of the card, you had that steel cage match between Dijak and Joe Gacy, so that was cool. It was like a brawl, like a hardcore brawl in a match in the what you might call it, in a steel cage match. And then you also had Sean Spears. He made his wrestling debut, so he was there. And now I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he will be fighting next week against Rich Holland. So that match should be hopefully entertaining to see. And then obviously, one last thing. I mean, obviously, myself, I wasn't able to go ahead and be in the Squared Circle Digest last night. So, but I do want to give my take, and I want to ask Nick as well. What you think about that Sting retirement? I mean, that was a hell of a match on Sunday at Revolution. Did you enjoy it? Are we gonna miss Sting? What you think about Sting and his his him selling away now?
Yeah, the farewell match was very touching. It brought a lot of crowd. I think that's been the most like full pay-per-view for AEW in a long time. And there was just a lot of things going, a lot of emotions, and he's wrestled for so many years. It was just a nice way of kind of ending things. However, I know I saw that there was some sort of time management problems, and that's why they had to cut his speech short. But when things were on off air, he still had a nice farewell, and it was very touching. And everyone told TK, as cracked out as he looked, he
Yeah.
congratulates Sting, and he was just happy overall how everything went out. I'm glad Darby Allen, in case y'all didn't see it, Darby Allen did some crazy move there, and hope he's doing fine. And but yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm not lying to you. Just to keep the record straight, I only tuned in that match. Everything else I did not tune into, just the Sting one.
Well, I will tell you this. I did watch the whole Revolution card. I thought the Revolution card lived up to expectation. It was really good. Um, I think Sean always says a good point. The AEW pay per views are the wrestling out there and the talent out there is always there. What they kind of lack drastically is on the storytelling. That's the problem. What happens with the whole AEW storytelling is that they don't hit on them. They missed the mark. I mean, they did a great job when they teamed up MJF and Adam Cole, and then the whole double story kind of went away and they dropped the ball. They could have made Tony Khan as the double. Yesterday, what's up, No Doubt? I see you finally. Thank you, sir, for coming in and joining us. The other thing I also was a little bit disappointed. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but on I believe it was in the AEW social media, there was a scene where it was Brian Danielson and this guy Eddie Kingston, and they were talking, and that whole match, Eddie Kingston beat Brian Danielson, and he's supposed to shake his hand and all that stuff. But when they had that backstage thing on Instagram, what ended up happening was just them just talking, and Eddie Kingston saying, "Yo, look, I appreciate you, giving me the respect and all that stuff, and I'll leave it at that." And Brian Danielson was like, "Yeah, I'm so happy that." We were able to match, and we had a great match, and man, you lived up to expectation and all that. But then that's it. It's like you're giving props to each other. Come on, man. You missed a great opportunity to do a story out of it. I know we already saw Brian Danielson versus Eddie Kingston, but right there, that's the difference between WWE and AEW. Instead of just going ahead and giving him kudos, AEW would have spun that. AEW would have said, you know something? I let you win. Or he could have gone ahead and Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli could have came out and said, why are you talking to this guy? This guy hasn't given us any respect for many years, and we still don't respect you. And then walk away and leave the fans intrigued of like what's gonna happen next. Is he gonna go ahead and fight Moxley? Is he gonna fight Claudio? What's going on? But they don't do that. They just basically want to sell the wrestling. And if you want the wrestling, then you tune into AEW. If you want the entertainment and wrestling, you tune into WWE. That's the way you look at it, right?
I mean, you can look at it that way, or you can look at it, hey, look, they're giving each other props. He invites them to the team, and then they kind of put him in there, and they create another member into the group, and then now, then you spin that off, and then he's the champion. He becomes kind of like the new leader, and then they feud again within the team, and then he's like he does something crazy. So like similar to like Damage Control. pretty much. And so maybe they're going that route. I don't know, but I get what you mean though. The development, the journey, the emotion that you invest onto the story. Like you said, having to give that passion in wrestling, that's one big factor. But the other big factor too is the story, the other side of your emotions that you want to kind of figure out, why do these guys fight? Why what's in it for them too? You get me? And a great fight can occur anytime, but a great story, that's once in a blue moon. And so they need to turn that around and make good stories be consistent. Look at WWE, man. They always have they don't have just one good storyline. They have everything shooting out everywhere. Shit, even NXT right now. Like, come on, bro. You got, like, I agree. TK needs to um maybe I'm being too apresurado, maybe I'm not, but TK gotta move, bro.
I just think at the end of the day, look how the fans are so invested right now in WWE. Like, look at Friday Night SmackDown. We're all excited that Cody and Seth are gonna make their round over there now. Obviously, The Rock doing that 21-minute promo on Twitter and talking smack and pretty much telling a story. And then everything that they do is like on point when it comes to the WWE world. I wish we would get a little bit about that in the AEW world, because in the AEW world, you're gonna get the hardcore fans, the hardcore wrestling fans, but you want people to be invested. You want people to go ahead and be like, okay, this is what's going on, intrigue. Because if you're trying to gain more fans, more viewers, that's what you need to sell to the fans. You need to sell them like a soap opera, because at the end of the day, that's what wrestling is. It's a soap opera for guys, and some gals like to tune in as well, and then all of a sudden what ends up happening is you have wrestling in the middle, and you have athletes going ahead and doing whatever they have to do to entertain us. But I feel like AEW drops the ball on that.
It's
So that was
I liked how Jericho said it once, that it's predetermined entertainment. Like it's stuff that they rehearse, they put their body on the line, and it creates entertainment. And if someone doesn't appreciate that, then you can go kick rocks. But that's something what wrestling is all about. And so adding a
but the key
storyline to it just puts the cherry on top.
But look what he said, a key word that he said, entertainment. So it's not only wrestling. Wrestling entertains, but you also want to get people invested. And the only way you're going to get people invested is by creating good storylines, booking the right matches, building it up, the intrigue, the animosity, the urge of, hey, what's going to happen next? Like that type of stuff is what I personally find more exciting in the WWE world than in the AEW world. And that's why, unfortunately, at the end of the day, AEW kind of lacks on that. But let's go ahead and jump on to the next topic. We're gonna see, because I'm hoping I'm gonna give one of my friends time to see if he wants to make it in. So we're gonna skip the UFC and the boxing. We're gonna try to push that for the next segment. But we're gonna talk right now Miami Dolphins, and let me make sure this is working, because my God, I already dropped the ball once and there it is. All right, so at least the background is working for the Dolphins. So let's talk a little bit about the Miami Dolphins. And of course, there's some big news that happened. And of course, that was that the Miami Dolphins did not franchise tag Christian Wilkins, and they signed a defensive tackle, sir, Isaiah Mack, baby. It was funny because when I saw the announcement, some people in the comments were saying the Dolphins signed the wrong defensive tackle. So Nick,
Yeah, they
talk
were
to me, man.
saying, wait, who was it? Khalil Mack or whoever it was? They're like the wrong Mac.
Yeah, the wrong Mac, bro.
That's so
Like, I
messed up,
mean,
bro. He's gonna be a clutch player, man. Come on.
who? Isaiah Mack?
He's gonna. I'm thinking positive.
No,
I'm thinking
no.
positive. He's gonna be great depth, and he's gonna come through when we need him to come through.
Okay, I agree with you with that. Great depth, I agree. He is pure depth. That's all he is. If somebody gets hurt, he'll come in. But as a starter, that guy is not gonna be in our squad. Let's just keep it
It's
real.
it's like it. It's like every new defensive coach or offensive coach or head coach in general. You're bringing in your guys, and this is one of Anthony Weaver's guys. So hopefully this pans out.
That is true. I can't complain about that. So if somebody who knows him better than anybody else, it should be Anthony Weaver. But Isaiah Mack has been gone since last August. So, he hasn't been playing as much.
True.
And I think his last team was Washington. I think the Washington Commanders were his last team. So he's depth. Like, if you look at his stats, he's not a guy who's been like knocking it out of the park. So that is the kind of like the only downfall. Like I said, depth. That's all we need. And then of course we let go of two other players. Of course, some people are kind of butthurt that the Miami Dolphins let go of Jerome Baker. Like, why would they be butthurt? We all knew this was coming. And let's keep it real, man. After watching Hard Knocks, I honestly felt gave more respect to Jerome Baker. I thought he was good, and he is good as a leader, as the captain, and everything. He was committed with the Dolphins. But dude, if if we're having financial issues and we need to lower people's salary, I know that they try to negotiate. He tried to lower it. I read something online. I don't know who. I think it was Barry Jackson who actually wrote about it, but they couldn't come out to a certain figure, and then for that reason, they kind of had to let him go, and now he can sign with anybody. Now he's going to test the market. Does Jerome Baker get picked up by anybody? Does he get the money that he wants? You understand me?
He's gonna get picked up, but I don't know about the money. But I'll let you finish because I want to ask you a question.
Well, then, I from what I read, I'm not sure if I'm 100% sure, but I think he was seeking somewhere around 8 mil, 9 mil is what he's asking for now. That's, I think, what he was asking for. And then again, I don't know if anybody's gonna pay him all that. That's the thing. I mean, he hasn't been like a tremendous linebacker. He's a good linebacker, but he's not like, hey, this guy's unstoppable. And then obviously we let go of Keon Crossan, who was another one. So now, if I'm not mistaken, we're about 18.2 away from getting under the cap. And we need to get under the cap, I believe, before March the 13th, if I'm not mistaken. It's either March the 13th or March the 12th. I'm not too sure. I don't remember exactly. But those moves have to be made. And at the end of the day, Miami had to let him go. So that's how I feel about it. What about you? What do you think, man? Or what did you want to ask me?
So I started looking into it a little bit more, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I was one of those where I was like, you know what? Um, I think it's time for us to move on from Jerome Baker. Uh, I think time to bring in new youngins or bring in a great. I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Weaver comes in and brings in his linebacker peoples, because remember this regime is from sort of kind of um Brian Flores, Josh Boyer time of regime. And so those are just guys that he's like, hey, look, there's a system I have in place, and I think he fits it, but they want to keep him at a cheaper price. However, though, I looked at his contract and he had last year 10.8 million. He made 10.8 last year. And then I started looking at who are the highest paid linebackers,
Okay.
and Jerome Baker lands in number 6, I believe. And so other linebackers that are getting paid more than him, actually his production is a little bit better than them. Kind of,
Really?
sort of. Yeah. I don't remember the names right now. But it was I looked at their stats, and it was just interesting. I was like, man, I think I get it. Jerome Baker wants to get paid what he was getting paid last year, but if you look at his stats and you compare it to other linebackers, they weren't that bad. And so it sucks that he went away now, but hey, the next man up type of, motive when it comes to the middle linebacker group. I think Andrew Van Ginkel is going to be more the main focus on getting him back, especially now that we lost Jerome Baker. Do I see any of them coming back? No, I don't. I don't like the term when they're like, "Oh, but the Dolphins keep the door open." That doesn't mean anything, man. That's just
Yeah, I
pretty
hate when
much
that
like a band-aid. Like, nah, man, just rip that shit. You feel me? Like, no, it
fluff,
doesn't work.
baby. I call that fluff. They're
Yeah,
just
bro.
fluffing
Like,
the
come
fans.
on, bro. Like, get out of here. That doesn't make any sense. But I can give you the names. Let me see if I can pull up the.
While you're looking it up, I could talk something else in the meantime. So one thing I did look at, and I follow some of the guys on Instagram and on Twitter and all that, and they were mentioning a couple of things, and some of the things for the obviously for the Miami Dolphins to make some room is obviously they re-signed Jalen Ramsey in a way that they reconstruct his contract. Which in a way we could save up to $18 million. Bradley Chubb would be another contract that we could save if we restructure his contract, and so is Zach Sealer's contract. The extensions that we could give is obviously Tyreek Hill if people feel that that's the right move to make, or Tua Tagovailoa, because obviously that's the big one that we could do, and we could restructure their contracts to the point where obviously we backload the tail end of the contract. That way, it creates more cap, and then we don't run into this issue. My personal opinion, guys, I've always said, I think, what's holding the Dolphins, to be honest with you, man, is that Tyreek contract, bro. Paying Tyreek that buku money, man, and you want to know why I feel that way? Is because now, look, I know Tyreek Hill makes Tua a lot better. You understand me? And I know Tyreek is a big piece of the puzzle for the Miami Dolphins. But dude, there are very good, solid receivers out there that don't bank. And we're gonna talk about it in just a minute. I know the Dolphins have John Smith, and I was looking at John Smith, and there was a particular receiver in that Atlanta team that I was like, damn, this guy balls out. And at the end of the day, this guy's not making a whole bunch of money. And you know who that is, sir?
No, sir.
That's Drake London, man. Drake London is 22 years old. This kid is legit. I'm not gonna lie to you. His stats are freaking up there. I mean, the last 2 years he averaged. So check this out. 2022, his rookie year, he had 866 yards. 2023, he had less receptions and he almost broke 1,000 yards. The kid was averaging an average of 12 yards per catch, and then last year he was averaging 13.1. Guys like this are guys that I like. I think we need to invest on young talent. Tyreek Hill, obviously, he's a superstar. Guy was trying to make over 2,000 receiving yards. I get it. But at the end of the day, when you look at Drake London, a kid like that, I know he's not a baller. I know he's not. I mean, we have one. We technically have our Drake London. That's Jalen Waddle, and we got to sign him. I believe within, I think, starting not this year, but the following year. So we got to look into him. But I've always felt like that Tyreek Hill contract was kind of like a setback for us, man. I think we gave too much for it. And it looked like the right trade, but now it's starting to look like maybe we need to kind of look back and kind of digress a little bit and be like, okay, did we do the right move? Because look at all the off the field issues she's starting to pile up again, man. And it's kind of concerning. And then on top of that, if you're going to sign Tua to a franchise fucking contract, then let's keep it real, man. Make that kid earn it. Like, I'm done with having to put all these great pieces around him. Make the kid earn it, man. Like, I mean, I know that Drake London wouldn't be like a Tyreek Hill, but you look at that kid and that kid can ball out too. You feel me? So, like, I don't understand why the Miami Dolphins, my apologies. I understand why the Miami Dolphins would consider extending his contract. I just wouldn't do it, especially since he's going to be asking for more, because he wants to be always the highest paid wide receiver. And he might be, I'm not judging his skills and his ability. The guy is amazing. The guy is great. But I'd rather take a receiver that's just a little bit a little bit less than him, but that at least gives us that flexibility when it comes to the money and when it comes to, being able to make other moves and other necessary parts. I don't think wide receiver, especially since we have Jalen Waddle, is like, hey, we need to extend his contract. But that's just me. I don't know about you, Nick. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Honestly, if we can keep Tyreek for a cheap price, which is very low chance, then keep him. But if he's asking for more, then I think obviously you nailed it there. Yeah, it's time to move on. He's a great player. The guy getting his monies, getting his productivity's worth. Trust me, the guy is the most productive offensive piece we've had in a really long time. However, like you said, I think Tua needs to show us. He's proven us time and time now that he's improving and he's getting better. But now I feel like in order for him to not only Tua, but Mike McDaniel not rely so much on throwing the ball at Tyreek and kind of start spreading the ball movement with other players, younger players, like you're saying, Jalen Waddle. If Eric Izukama comes in this year and starts producing, and so it's time for us to really try our best and drafting these players, especially with Chris Greer having so many picks. Hopefully, he nails some in the draft. I honestly feel like our main focus right now is tight end and O line. So we'll be probably be fine in the defensive side. We'll probably get depth, and it will be enough for us to buy time in order for big pieces like Bradley Chubb, Phillips, um, and other maybe even other pieces like Cater Kohu to get better, and it's just gonna help us out overall in general. And so I feel like we need to focus on just adding one more piece, and then if that doesn't work, then kind of move on from Tyreek unless we get him on a cheaper stick of a contract.
Well, I mean, no doubt says here. Let me see what he says here. Hold on a second. He wrote here saying, "Hey, if we can bring a young wide receiver three that is good to move up in a few years, and we actually get a tight end, we all want. Then moving on from Tyreek could make sense. But right now, Reek is worth every penny, and no
100%.
doubt." Again, man, I think he is a vital piece to this team, but
Mhm.
at the same time, it's kind of handcuffing us when it comes to making other moves, especially if he's gonna ask for more money. And you know he's probably gonna ask more money because of who was it? Was it the Tampa Bay Buccaneer receiver that got
Oh yeah,
the
Mike Evans. He had
Mike Evans?
like a 2 year, $58 million contract or something like that.
Yeah, so now he's the highest paid wide receiver, and you know Tyreek Hill's not gonna like that. So that's the reason why I think in the long run, I think we might have to go ahead and try to let I wouldn't extend Tyreek Hill. I would try to see if he keeps dropping the ball this year. And when I mean dropping the ball is he's made mistakes. He dropped a couple balls here and there that we should have won against Kansas City and stuff like that. Then maybe we should start looking into a younger talent receiver and start looking into maybe moving on from Tyreek Hill. And again, it's on look. I I am the type of fan of Miami Dolphins who I love my players. I love, all the guys. There have always been fans of everybody. My favorite player for the Miami Dolphins all time is Zach Thomas. That's my favorite player of all time. I want to keep him, but if it's gonna hold back the team from actually improving, and it's gonna hold us back from like keep on trying to get an opportunity to make it to a Super Bowl, and I'm sorry, man. We gotta make sacrifices, and if that means we gotta let go of Tyreek Hill, I still feel confident with Jalen Waddle, and I still feel confident, man. Maybe, just maybe, we could go ahead and get a young wide receiver that could, develop into something well. Obviously, Izukama has not paid out, but I mean, hopefully this year he does pan out, and then we, honestly, at the end of the day, get some success. Now, Nick, you did mention one thing, and I forgot to mention it. Let me share the screen, and that is definitely happy birthday to Mr. Mike McDaniel. Today is his birthday. So happy birthday to our head coach. We're thrilled to have him. I've been an advocate of Mike McDaniel. I think Mike McDaniel, at the end of the day, has been uh, kind of like a good look for us. You understand? I mean, he's been able to change the attitude in the team, and I like him as a coach. And I know that a lot of people might say, "Hey, if the Miami Dolphins kind of digress this year, he's going to be in the hot seat." But I don't know about that just yet. You understand me? I think the person who would probably be on the hot seat if the Miami Dolphins digress would probably be Chris Greer because he kind of went all in. But technically, when you bring somebody like a new GM to the team, they kind of always want to bring their own staff. They want to bring a new coach and all that stuff. So only time will tell. I'm not saying Chris Greer is bad, but obviously he kind of put all his eggs in one basket and it's kind of not panned out the way we wanted it to, right? And I think this year's team is going to probably be a little bit less talented than last year's team. But we'll see. We'll see. And definitely no doubt does go ahead and says wide receiver is a sneaky draft pick. Yep. You can definitely be there. I mean, they were talking these drafts about quarterbacks left and right and all that stuff. So um the other thing we want to Nick, did you ever get that list? Did you get the chance?
Yeah, the linebackers in front of Jerome Baker was Panthers linebacker Shaq Thompson, which really didn't have much production this year, and Jerome Baker had a little bit better on him. And Levante David was number 8, and Jerome Baker was number 7, having to earn 12.5. And so I think he wanted 9. I think the Dolphins wanted to go down to I'm not even exaggerating, 4.5, 5, just because of the amount that we've already given him throughout what 7 years, 6 years, and so I don't blame him. It's his money's worth, and he was pretty productive. I looked at his stats; it wasn't bad. I think he had like 2, 3 sacks, combined tackles over 40, 50, assisted like about 40, 50. But his best year was in 2020. Guy has 7 sacks. He almost had close to like maybe 70, 80 tackles. And so he was really productive under Brian Flores. So for sure, there will be a team. You never know. Maybe Brian Flores goes ahead and calls him up and says, "Hey, look, I'm in." I don't know what team Brian Flores is right now. I wouldn't be surprised. I think he's in
I think he's still in
the
Pittsburgh. No,
Rams.
he's still in the Steelers.
No, he's not in the Steelers.
Who?
It's,
Brian Flores?
yeah, no, he left.
Yeah, wasn't he's not with the Steelers?
Nah, man, he left, then went to the Vikings, and then he was in the Vikings, and I forgot where he's at now.
Really? Damn.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I thought he was still with the Steelers because I
he was
remember.
actually in. He was in talks and trying to get a defensive coordinator position. Actually,
Well, that I know, but let me see. Let me take a look at where he's. Let me look and see. He. Let me see what I could look him up here.
we got to
Brian
talk about
Flores.
John Smith, man.
We do. So before we talk about John Smith, though, let me see if I find out where Brian Flores is right now. Brian Flores currently is in. Okay, so he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers as of February 19th, 2022, and then he just got on February 6th, 2023. Flores was hired by the Minnesota Vikings, so he just started with the Vikings now. So he was with Mike Tomlin all of last season, and this year will be his actually early. Well, no, yeah, earlier this, 2023 last year, right? So actually,
Yeah,
yeah,
boy.
he was with the Vikings. So he was with the Vikings for a while, for all of last season, and then moved on from there. So yeah, there you
Mhm.
go. No, that also confirms it. All right, so let's talk about John Smith, right? And the reason we wanted to bring up John Smith is because I do want to share something, Nick, with you, and I want to get your opinion, man. And I did some homework on him, right? Remember I was saying about Drake London and all that stuff. So I was like, look, the reason I did some homework on John Smith is because I wanted to show you guys this, and I did this. Let me change this up. Let me say bring this up. So check this out. These are some videos I wanted to show you guys. And let's go ahead and see if I can pull this up. There it is. So um on this video, right? I'm gonna tell you something. 85. Forgot his name. From if you could do me a favor, Nick, and look him up while I'm showing this video. But 85 from the Atlanta Falcons. This guy is a senior guy. This guy is 31 years old. I looked him up. Now, John Smith is 81. And the reason I wanted to show this video, it's not so much because of the catching, because in this one, they just threw it to the wide receiver. What I wanted to show you was the blocking ability. So on this one, when you're looking at it, here you see number 81, John Smith, and I know he's getting some help right there from the right tackle, but look at that. You see him basically blocking number 94 and giving some room in order for the quarterback to have enough time to throw to the running back. This is one thing that I liked about him when I saw him, and it was basically that he's able to block no matter when he's on the line, and that's a thing that I like because you remember with the whole situation with Mike Gesicki was that he couldn't block. So
No, I don't.
John Smith being able to block brings some adversity to the tight end position. Again, you could line up two.
Michael Pru.
Michael Pruitt is his name.
Michael Pru.
Michael Pruitt. Okay, so that number 85 guy, hands down. How old is he? I'm pretty sure he's 31 years old. He's a little bit younger because I think
30.
he's 30. Okay, and John Smith is 28. I think he's the same age as Durham Smite. But Pruitt can block. Number 85, Jesus Christ, that tight end can block. So
Bring
the
him
Atlanta.
both in, man.
Well, the thing about him, I don't know his contract. I didn't look into his contract, but I know that John Smith obviously was the second tight end. Pruitt was the third tight end, and then their number one tight end was Kyle Pitts. So what happens is Pitts can't block for shit. Like he's just out of this world type of tight end when it comes to catching and receiving and all that stuff. But as far as blocking, he is nowhere near as John Smith or number 85 for the Atlanta Falcons. So that's why I was like saying, okay, so when having John Smith on the team would work because now you could be deceitful. Now you could have two tight end sets where you have Durham Smite and you have John Smith, and both of them can block, and you don't even need to throw the football. or you have the option to go ahead and actually throw the football to one of these guys. The other video I want to show here, it is. Here's another one.
He's a free
And
agent, by the way.
oh, he is nice. So there it is, number 81 again, John Smith right there with the catch. So just wanted to show you this one because look what they do with him in this particular play. You see the motion, which is something that Miami does all the damn time. And then there you saw John Smith for a second. So let me hold on. Let me try to see if I could get you guys to see this. So John Smith right here again gets the block, which is where he's trying to go with. And then as soon as he finishes the block, and this games are from this past season. So this is all new stuff. I didn't want to show stuff from years ago because I wanted to see what he's technically doing right now or what he did last season. And then you could see that he released, and then obviously he was able to free open in that hole and then catch that football. And then he was able to get missed tackle there, and then kind of knock some of these guys out and move forward. So that was another thing. So he looks like a reliable catcher, and
he's a yak artist.
That's something that looks good. Here's another video that I wanted to show, and this was probably the best one that I like from him. And obviously that was a pick, but I don't care about the interception. This is what I care about. Look at him right here, lined as number 81. They put him in motion, right? And then look what he does. Here comes that blitz, baby.
Blitz.
Here comes that blitz, and boom! You see that right there, blocks the hell out of it, giving time. Now that was a really bad throw. He should have thrown to one of these two guys or over here. He even had maybe Drake London up there, but at the same time, look at that block. Like that is what I like. You see that type of move. That's what I'm talking about having a tight end that could block like that. So that was another video that I saw, and then obviously this is the last one, and this was against Tampa, and again another movement where he actually goes and
he drops the defensive end, bro. It's crazy.
So look what he does. Here he is, number 81. He's gonna go ahead and just do enough to pick him off, and then maybe he held a little bit, maybe he tripped him. I'm not sure, but he did enough to buy the quarterback time. And then look, he's wide open, and he's letting you know, catches the football, able to catch and hold on, because look at that impact. He was getting hit right from the back, so that was a blind hit, and he still held on to the football. So those were a couple of videos that I pulled out and said, yo, man, this kid is not that bad. I like him. I like him, and I think he'll be serviceable. Can he be a starter for the Miami Dolphins? I don't know yet. I really don't know. We gotta only time will tell.
Great depth.
But he does look like a number 2 tight end. But I will say this again, guys. We're kind of struggling with cap. So and the reason I say we're struggling with cap is because we could get under the cap. That's not the issue. The issue is having to resign and sign a lot of guys out there, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they actually run with Durham Smythe and this guy, John Smith, as the 1 and 2 tight ends there.
And Julian Hill, maybe he becomes another player that pushes better productivity this year. Maybe this is a leap year for him, and he pushes the number 2 spot, and we have more depth. And so,
and then we gotta, but I don't think we'll hold on to 4 tight ends, because I think this year we had only 3, and that's gonna make or break for Tanner Connor. So Tanner Connor is gonna have to make a decision, or I don't know if Mike McDaniel is gonna do something with Tanner Connor, but he would be somebody who would let go, or Julian. They'll let go.
I think Tanner Connor is practice squad.
But honestly, at the end of the day, though, that's what I saw on John Smith. I think it's a good, a very good player that we could pick up, and I think he's going to be very well serviceable in the formation and the ideas that the Miami Dolphins do. Because again, a lot of if you looked at the plays of the videos, a lot of them were formations where they were going ahead and moving him in motion, and he was blocking, and that's the most important thing. And there are videos, I know, if you guys tune into Dougie also posted some videos of him when he was with the Patriots and with and I think with the Tennessee Titans, and he
was super productive in the Titans, bro. He had 8 touchdowns during COVID year 2020.
And not only that, but he's versatile. Like there was a play where he ran as a running back and everything. So it's out there. And Mike McDaniel, he wants to see,
Speed.
speed, and he wants to get players that are going to be deceitful out there and can play in different roles where you can move them around and it's not going to hurt anybody. So it's going to just throw off the defense and at the end of the day make Tua's life a lot easier. So
Mhm.
talk to me, Nick. What do you think, man? Do you think John Smith is a good deal? Should he be maybe just a backup or should he be a starter?
No, I think he's a backup. Um, he's just a veteran depth. He brings in, like you said, versatility, skill, speed, experience, and so I think this is gonna just only create competition in the tight end room. Um, I don't know if they'll go ahead and draft someone, but they're not too fond in adding on pieces on the tight end right now. I think their main focus is O line and getting the defense back into groove after losing big pieces. And so I think this is going to be, like you said, I think if this does, I heard it's been in contract negotiations. If this all goes all signed and done deal, you're most likely going to still see Smite as the one, then Smith number two, and then probably Hill number three, or vice versa. And so I like the deal. I like that he brings into the team, and so hopefully hopefully he pans out.
Yeah, man, and he did have a big deal with New England. New England had big plans for him because they had New England had signed him for 4 years, $50 million contract. So,
Hmm.
I think the
He
Miami
digressed
Dolphins.
big time.
He did digress. But the potential is there,
Hell
if
yeah,
and if you have Mike McDaniel as the head coach, I think you could get the most out of the players out there. And I think that's what the Miami Dolphins need to kind of have that mindset. Hey, I'm gonna get the most out of this player because I have the right coach in place. Kind of like Eric Spoelstra when he gets the most out of some of these guys who are not even drafted and gets the most out of them. So I think that's the reason why I think at the end of the day, um, the Miami Dolphins, it wouldn't hurt them. Now, I will say this, kind of contract numbers for John Smith. I mean, I know that the Falcons save like about 6.5 million toward the cap, so that's kind of the number I'm thinking the Miami Dolphins want to sign him somewhere around that $6.57 million range in order to have him. Of course, they have to get under the cap first, but I think if they reach some type of agreement, then obviously that's a way they could reconstruct somebody else's contract and then be able to have funds to be able to pay him and sign him up. The other thing that we did find out today was that Robert Hunt was in town and was in the Dolphins facility, and it looks like they were trying to get him signed. So I think the Miami Dolphins are doing a better job and are going to do everything possible to try to sign him, especially since we weren't able to re-sign Christian Wilkins. So anything else you wanted to add on as far as the Dolphins talks are? Nothing? Damn.
no, sir.
Quick and easy. Let's talk now a little bit basketball, and that is the Miami Heat. And the
Woo-woo.
Miami Heat have been on a roll. And even though the Miami Heat have been in a row, the Miami Heat had to make a move. And we welcome to the Miami Heat now Mr. Patty Mills, the veteran, making his way over to the Miami Heat. It looks like he is there to replace Josh Richardson. I think Josh Richardson's process, his whole elbow situation is probably a little bit worse than what we expected. And because of that, we bring the veteran Patty Mills, 35 years old, 35 and still going. Wasn't doing that great. I think his last team was Brooklyn, if I'm not mistaken. And no, I'm sorry. He was with the Atlanta Hawks. That's who he was with. His
He was
production
balling in Australia at one point.
he was, but again, like his peak wasn't, his peak was when he was with the San Antonio Spurs, in my opinion. But he did have, he's another senior kind of like guard just to back up the guards that we have here in Miami because obviously losing Josh Richardson hurts us a lot, and that's one thing that I'm gonna I like the Miami Heat making these moves. It just looks like they're setting up for success for the playoffs. It reminds me of the Florida Panthers. You saw who they signed, and it's just like they're just stacking the teams up because they already know that they want to go deep into the
Yeah,
playoffs. So you
100%.
have the Miami Heat and the Florida Panthers making moves in order for us to go ahead and be sneaky in the playoffs and make some noise.
100%.
What do you think about Patty Mills, man? Do you think that's the right decision? Do you think the Miami Heat can actually utilize Patty Mills and actually he could be some type of contributor to this team?
100%. I mean, look what we did with Kevin Love and how it's been panning out for us. And productivity, and he fits that Heat culture. Honestly, he has that grimy defense. He knows how to be disciplined, and he knows when he needs to score, he can score, and be a really good 3 point shooter. And Miami likes to have their 3 point shooters, and so obviously Josh Richardson, unfortunately, is going through a shoulder injury. Right? It's a shoulder injury,
Yeah, he messed
and
up
it's
his
a lot
shoulder
more
bad.
severe than we thought because of the whole pickup of Patty Mills. And obviously, we know what Tyler Hero brings into the team, and so
What does
taking
Tyler Hero bring to the team? Injuries?
Sir, he brings in point guard ability as well. He can
Uh,
drive it in and move the ball.
Point guard ability from home, right? Like while he's resting, or from the bench because he can't play because he always gets hurt, right?
I mean, we got Scary Terry, and that he's not gonna get touched there. I get it, but worst case scenario, something happens, and we need Tyler Hero to run up the point guard position. We shouldn't. We keep him nice and safe in the vault until the playoffs so that he doesn't get injured. And so Patty Mills, he's a good piece, brings depth, brings experience. I like the move.
You want to know what's the other crazy thing I wanted to tell you guys is the fact that Terry Rozier is averaging good points right now. He's right now, like the last game against the Pistons. I know the Pistons suck, but he had 17 points. Duncan Robinson's another guy. This is the reason why I honestly feel that we need to get rid of Tyler Hero. Like we need to trade him. Like I like Tyler Hero, but he just can't stay healthy, man. And when he can't stay healthy,
Put him in the playoffs.
it's disappointing, and it leaves a lot to desire. You feel me? And that's the problem. Look, against the Utah Jazz, Terry Rozier had 14 points. And then I also want to go ahead and take out that narrative where everybody was saying, hey, we should have traded Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's balling. Okay. And I hate the fact that people were saying, hey, we should have traded Jimmy Butler 2 years ago or last year or whatnot. Look, man, the Miami Heat are relevant because of Jimmy Butler. This team goes as far as it can with Jimmy Butler. The thing is that we've been so accustomed to see the Miami Heat like win all the time that if we don't win a championship, we feel like it's an unsuccessful season. I mean, for the love of God, last season we made it to the NBA Finals. Like, you don't get that if you don't have Jimmy Butler in the team. That's just the reality of the truth.
We've been in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 times with Jimmy Butler already.
Jesus.
We went in bubble year. Then the second year we lost in the first round. Obviously, that was a year that we retired already. 2022 came in. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then in 2023 they were in the Eastern Conference Finals again. And so, it's crazy. It's also crazy when people would say, "Yo, bring him off the bench, bro." That's crazy, bro. Why would you
Wait, just a minute. Don't come and give me that crap.
Why would you bring him off the bench? The guys are mad. You crazy?
Wait, get out of here. You bastard. You're saying that because of me. I said that. And you know what? He could definitely come out of the bench. Who cares? At the end of the day, you still need Jimmy Butler on the basketball court, but that doesn't mean you can't control his time. You could kind of, that Kawhi Leonard, time management. You could do that with Jimmy too. Let's keep it real. If you feel Jimmy's prone to injuries, bring him off the bench. There's no problem. I'd rather have a Jimmy come off the bench than have a Jimmy get hurt, and then at the end of the season when we're fighting for in the playoffs, we don't have him, or we have like a 10% Jimmy out there just dragging himself, trying to do whatever he can. I want a team that is able to go ahead and produce. And I know we lost against Denver a couple games ago.
That slipped. That one slipped.
But Miami was competitive,
Yeah.
And look, man. And again, I might go ahead and complain and say that Tyler Hero, we need to trade his ass and all that stuff. But let's keep it real, man. If Tyler Hero was on the team, my only knock with Tyler is that he can't stay healthy. But if Tyler Hero was on the team, hell yeah, he would be the one that I would want there out there as well. And it gives the Miami Heat more firepower because now you have another person that could create off the dribble. So now
you need a tall guy, bro. We just need a taller guy.
We do need a little bit of help like that. But I mean, I do love Kevin Love, man. I am impressed with Kevin Love. Kevin Love, I think, has been a secret weapon for the Miami Heat. I think Kevin Love goes out there and shows heart, and he shoots those crazy threes that you don't expect him to make. And I feel like he's good. He gets the job done. You feel me? And I feel like the Miami Heat have the potential to give it a run, as long as all of them stay healthy. Boston looks unstoppable, but Boston does not want to face us. You know
No.
that they don't want to face us. So that's the
And
way
look,
I.
we have other pieces that are bringing up now. We got Jaime Jaquez, we got Jovic, we got pieces, young pieces that are also contributing, and so it's just getting good. We just need just one more tall person. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I'm not really good with dates when it comes to if we can, have any acquisitions. But if we can just bring in one more person off height, man, I think this team would be looking really, really solid.
Awesome, awesome. Well, that being said, we do have a guest. I'm gonna bring him on in just a minute. Give me 1 minute, and I'll bring you on. I do want to go ahead and talk a little bit about what we have coming up this weekend here at the Kaseya Center, and that is the UFC 299 happening here in Miami, and it's the main event. Sean Sugar? How do you say
No,
his
Sean Sugar O'Malley.
Sean Sugar O'Malley. That goes to show you how much I don't like Sugar O'Malley. Against Marlon Chico Vera. Yes, sir.
Chico.
So I really want I the tickets are on for sale. They are pricey as hell. I think Dana White always wants to get the most out of the Miami fans. And I don't know if we're gonna pay all that. But I will tell you this. The card is stacked. Jesus Christ. The co-main event is Dustin Poirier versus Bennett Saint Denis. Bernard Saint Denis. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's good. That guy, I've seen him fight. He's good. You have Kevin Holland versus Michael Venom Page, baby. That's a hell of a. And last time Kevin Holland came to Miami, remember, he fought the Argentinian guy who, and he knocked the hell out of him. So that was, Kevin Holland is no joke. And I'm glad that they brought him back. You also have Gilbert Burns fighting on the card, Peter Yan fighting on the card. I mean, even on the the prelims, you got Joanne Calderwood fighting in that card. Like it's
Rafael dos Anjos.
Rafael dos Anjos is fighting. That card is stacked, dude. Like it's not really good card. It just sucks that it's so much like to go watch that card is like really pricey, dude. Like Curtis Blades is fighting in that. Macy Barber. Hold on, let me share this with you.
But
guys.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd rather spend that on that event than me go watch an Inter Miami match right now.
Oh wow. Okay. So that's a good. Okay, we got a good debate. We could talk about that. We could talk about that in just a minute. But yes, as you could tell right there, you have obviously Curtis Blades versus Jelton Almeida, Caitlin Serminara versus Macy Barber. Obviously, Macy Barber is good. There is Rafael dos Anjos. Pedro Munoz is in this card as well. In the early prelims, this is what I was telling you about. Where is she? There is Joanne Calderwood. She's fighting on there. Michael Pereira is fighting there from Brazil. He's good. I mean, dude, it's a really good card. Really good card. I honestly feel like, if you go to this card, you're getting your money's worth, but I just think it's a little bit pricey, man, because if the tickets to go see this card is up about $384 for the cheapest. That's expensive, man. Like
But
I
it's a
wouldn't.
stacked card, bro.
It is a stacked card, but that's pricey, dude. Like I don't know if I would pay that amount of money. That's a lot of money. So, but with that being said, we want to go ahead and see if maybe let me see if I could get him on here. Oh, I think he disappeared. Hopefully he comes back. We were gonna bring him, but while he hopefully our guest comes back, I wanted to talk to you guys about some controversy that's going on. And Nick, I know we spoke about this earlier today, right? And this is a touchy subject. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's a touchy subject because me, my brother, and our guest, flexing the muscles out there. Flexing the muscles. There he is.
Yo.
Official DJ Memo. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
wait, so-
Look at that. Flexing the muscles. Just hit it. What you just came from the gym, bro?
Yeah, I'm actually in my car right now. I was like, I don't want to miss out, but I had stuff that I was doing during the day, so I was like, let me just knock this quick workout in and then see if I can make it to the podcast.
Good shit, man. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you coming on. And the reason I wanted to bring you on, man, is because this is why I wanted to bring you on, and that is boxing. And I know you're a big fan about boxing right now. Before we talk about the boxing, though,
This
what did you think?
hashtag, bro. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know why he wrote that. I ignored that.
I did
Okay.
that to troll.
Of course he did. But I wanted to get your opinion because I felt like our boy DiTrapio, my brother Nick, he just took a little jab right there saying that he'd rather go to the UFC fight than to go visit an Inter Miami game. Talk to me, DJ Memo. Do
I
you
mean,
agree with that?
no, I disagree 1,000% because you probably would have to spend a minimum probably $500 to get a decent seating inside of the AAA or Casella Center, whatever you call it. I call it the AAA. When you could probably spend a little bit less than that, maybe not too much less than that for Inter Miami, and no matter where you're sitting, you get a nice view.
Um, Let me ask you this, and you don't have to tell me the exact number, but more or less, if you want to go see an Inter Miami, game, more or less, how much are you paying? Because the UFC gate is about like to just get in, and that's sitting all the way in the top. Now, I went to last year's where Jorge Masvidal fought and Adesanya fought, and I ended up paying somewhere around like 250 per ticket, and that was because I made it. I went to the spot and I was able to find lower at that price. How much is it if you want to go see a game in Inter Miami?
It depends on how early you get the tickets. I paid about 220 before fees when I went last week, which is not horrible. I wish it was less. I was actually taking your advice, Frankie, waiting for last minute tickets to see if they would go down. And there was one that was I could have gotten for 180, but or no, it was 170 per ticket.
Oh, nice.
But I held off too long, and when I was like, "Fuck it, let me buy it," they can't. Someone already took it, so I was like, "No!" So I ended up having to bite the bullet and pay 220.
Well, I will say this, and for all you guys that are tuning in, the strategy here, you guys could take my strategy because I'm here for you guys. Where me and my brother are here for you guys, and so is Memo. The strategy is if you want to go to one of these events and you want to try to get the tickets a little bit cheaper, you basically go to the actual stadium, right? Or the actual location of the venue, and you're ready. You're on your app consistently looking at tickets as people are selling them on the spot. And the closer the game starts, the more likely somebody's going to sell tickets because either they can't make it or they want to get rid of them or whatever the case might be. That's how I usually go for the really high end games, like for the Inter Miami games, or when I go to a boxing match or to the UFC. That's technically the kind of like the strategy that I go. So yes, you're still gonna pay an arm and a leg, but I have seen, like for example, in the UFC ticket, when I paid 250, I saw somebody who was selling them for 160, and just like you, Memo, I just didn't hit the button on time, and somebody took them before I was
But
able.
but look when I say this though. So I ended up paying the 220. This was what I was at the gate because I thought that maybe at the box office it would be cheaper. But you go to the box office and they say, "Oh yeah, we have the tickets, but the cheapest ones that we have are $480 per ticket."
Oh,
So
wow.
so when I saw that, I was like, "Oh wow!" He's like, "Yeah, check Ticketmaster. Maybe Ticketmaster might have it for cheaper." And then in between Ticketmaster, Game Time, and I forgot the other one. I think it's SeatGeek. But in between all of them, I think Ticketmaster had the cheapest price out of all three of them that I
Well,
checked out.
we did the same thing with the UFC. We went to the box office and we told UFC, "Hey, look, the box office, are there any tickets available?" And they did have tickets for us, and there were better seats. They were all the way, they were a lot lower in like the 100 section. But the only problem was they were still very expensive. They were like somewhere around 500. They weren't 1,000 like they were going for, but they were still $500. I didn't want to pay $500 to go see a UFC fight. Sorry, I'm not balling like that. If I had money like that, I wouldn't care. But I ain't a baller like that. So I was like, okay, I don't mind. And for real with you guys, I honestly, the 250, the only reason I paid we paid like 250 or like 230 or something like that. The only reason I paid that was because my friend was adamant. He was like, "Okay, we're ready here. We're at the arena. Screw it. We'll go in, whatever." But for me, I was like, "Yo, man, I don't want to pay more than $200 for it to go." That's why when it comes to this fight, obviously this Saturday, I have the opportunity of possibly going if I can find tickets. But for this card, I'm not gonna pay more than $150. So I probably won't go to the UFC card, but I'm not gonna pay 100. I mean, the only way I'll pay more than $200 is if I'm in the lower section, that like the 100 section. So that's kind of how I feel when it comes to these matches. But let's talk about the most important thing, and that was the drama that's going on and that's trending in social media. I know you guys probably have heard about it. If you haven't, then we're gonna talk about it, and that's definitely the whole situation about the boxing community, the boxing world, and that is Ryan Garcia, who technically has a fight coming up in a couple of months against Devin Haley. So, guys, talk to me, man. Have you guys seen what is going on with Ryan Garcia? Nick, Memo, have you guys heard of what's happening with Ryan Garcia?
I saw what kind of blew up on X, and it was pretty much, you know, Ryan Garcia addressing on what happened. Apparently, he's saying that he got hacked, and they put a very disturbing message on his story, and so people were very worried about what it. I believe the message was, oh, 666, I slit, we got him, slit throw or something like that, and that was very disturbing. And so he wanted to just address that, and then a lot of people pretty much wanted to know what's going on. A lot of people are speculating that he might be heavy on drugs. That's kind of like the first reaction you get when you see stuff like that, or maybe he's going through a mental breakdown. We don't know what these athletes are going through behind the scenes. So for now, this is very random. Maybe this is a way of drawing the attention for the match. Weird flex, but hey, that for that's what I know for now.
And before you chime in, Memo, the fight against Devin Haney is on April the 20th.
Next month.
Yeah. So what do you think, Memo? Talk to me. What do you think about this whole?
And from what I see, I don't think I don't like how the media twists people's opinions, but that's what they always do. The first thing when someone talks at a higher level, I guess you could say, or outside of the box or open-mindedly, the first thing they say, they're crazy, they're on heavy drugs.
Mhm.
But like, I've seen it. I've also seen the video where he says that he doesn't have his phone, that his credit cards is frozen, his bank accounts are frozen, he doesn't have any money. And in that video, he looks very uncomfortable, like if he's forced to be saying something. So I don't know. Maybe he could be lying. Maybe he could be exposing the elites and the higher ups. Who knows? But in my opinion, I don't think this is. You can take it with a grain of salt, but I don't think he's lying in most of the stuff that he's saying. And he still, to this day, even like a couple hours ago, he was going in on everybody.
Yeah, I saw that he went ahead and was commented on a video that was kind of like being posted out there, and he was saying, "Look, here's the proof" and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
What we're talking about here recently, and I'll bring it up. I don't care. Like, I don't believe in all. I mean, not to say I don't believe it, but it's nothing is black and white. It's something gray. So, and it's the whole situation with Bohemian Grave, right? I think that's what it's called, Bohemian Grave, which is basically
Grove, I think it is.
Bohemian Grove. There you go, Bohemian Grove. So basically, what it's basically like I guess you could say a private group. Some people might call it a cult. And what ended up happening is that what he was saying was that he got grabbed by them, right? I guess he got invited, because I think you have to be a private member, but you can invite people over there. So he was, I guess, invited, and then they made him watch like uncomfortable stuff. And then that's when he started dishing out this information saying that, look, there's truth behind all this, and that, it's wild and all that. And he even came out on I think it was something on Twitter with Andrew Tate, right, Nick? I think
Yeah.
he was on with him, and then he basically was just expressing himself, saying that he was going to reveal everything that he saw. And then Andrew Tate was telling him, "Hey, look, man, like, calm down, be careful, because what you're talking about is something that could be harmful in the long run." So, do you guys believe that what he's saying is true, or do you guys feel that this guy is just is this okay? Here's my question, to make it very blunt and very straightforward. Do you believe in this? Number two, are they only doing this to try to hype up the boxing match for next month? I'll start with you, Nick.
Sometimes when you hear things, you may say, "Yo, this guy sounds crazy," and you don't want to believe it. But at the same time, though, I'm the type of person that I'm pretty open-minded in things, and when things start sounding crazy, it kind of makes me want to go into deeper dive into that information, and kind of like, gather and have my own opinion. But for now, honestly, I would say he's just going through a weird phase, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is true. He did mention that if any harm happens to him after him giving that type of message, you know, it's kind of backing what he's trying to say. And so for now, you take it as a grain of salt, and maybe by the time the fight gets closer, maybe things will clear up.
What do you think? What do you say, Memo?
I believe it to a certain extent. Like again, I'll feed off of what Nick said. Take it with a grain of salt. But I mean, at the end of the day, if he has evidence to back it up, and he's posting stuff, and then he says that he is when the time is right, he's gonna post the videos and the evidence that he has of those disturbing things that he saw. Yeah, bro. Only time will tell. And then it's crazy how all this is happening. A month and change before a big fight that he has with Devin Haney. Who knows? I mean, God forbid if anything happens to this man, if he disappears because of him talking reckless. Only time will tell, and we'll see what happens.
And notice how it's election year, so crazy shit has been happening this
Left
year
and right,
already.
and it's only going to keep hitting the fan by the time we get closer.
Well, the thing that he actually went ahead and commented on, and I'm not gonna share it. It's a message of him saying it keeps rolling, and y'all don't have to believe they took me here, but I don't have to prove anything to you. You aren't the one that their whole family been threatened. So he's insinuating that this Bohemian Grove place where he went threatened him, and in the post that he's actually going ahead and um commenting on is a post that was leaked by none other than Alex Jones. Now, I'm going to be very blunt with you guys. I didn't know who Alex Jones is. I have no idea who that guy was. I will give credit to where credit is due, and that's my brother. My brother mentioned me about Alex Jones and how Alex Jones has actually shown up on the Joe Rogan podcast and everything. And Alex Jones is one of those guys that kind of like also believes in a lot of these conspiracy stuff that happens left and right from what I was able to look up while I started kind of like doing my research. Memo, have you ever heard of Alex Jones?
Alex Jones, it rings a bell, but if you're telling me, I can't remember the guy's face.
He's
Nick.
a conspiracy theorist. He sounds like this. He sounds very deep.
He does sound like that. He does
Yeah.
sound like that.
It
But-
rings a
but-
bell.
But Nick, talk to me, man. What do you think about this whole conspiracy with Alex Jones? Do you think what he says is true? And I mean, you know a lot more than we do because I know you were telling me about this. If you're okay and comfortable talking about it, because educating us is something that we want to go ahead and let the fans know. Like I don't mind. And again, guys, you don't have to believe it. It's just topic that we could talk about, and that's what we're here for a discussion. So I know a little bit about Alex Jones, but I don't know him like that either.
People are gonna have a lot of opinions about him, good, positive, supporting, against. But he has said some very crazy theories. He's a huge conspiracy theorist. He has a huge audience that backs him up. I would tune from time to time onto his stuff and his information and his conspiracies and how things that are happening now he's been said many years ago. And so I don't want to go into too much deep detail about it, but yeah, he's one of those focal points of like, hey, like there's a lot more to these conspiracies than people really think, and he has I guess you can say supporting evidence from his behalf, and then people take it as, hey, he's just weird and crazy and stuff like that.
One last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about this because I'm intrigued. I'm the type of person that once I get into researching this stuff, I won't stop. And I had this conversation with Memo. And again, guys, if I'm pushing the buttons too much, just let me know. Be like, Frankie, I don't want to talk about it. But I'm going to bring it up because I think it's an interesting topic. So me and Memo were having this conversation before. And the conversation was that a lot of people in famous positions and in high positions, they tend to kind of sell their souls to, a kind of like a demon, right? Personally, myself, I've always had that mindset. I do feel that there are famous people out there. I mean, I don't want to name drop people, but there are people out there that I do feel that they got into levels besides their own achievements. But I feel like they've always gone and done got into these positions, maybe because they sold their soul to to that demon.
Industry.
Yeah, and then and I've always felt, I don't feel everybody has done that, but I do feel that some. I mean, there's name drops. I mean, I'll name drop one that obviously was recent, that I remember hearing about. And again, it's just conspiracy. There's no truth. I don't have any facts. I don't have any evidence or anything like that. But Kobe Bryant was one. Kobe Bryant was one that a lot of people said, the reason, God for, I mean, unfortunately, what happened to him was because he did sell his soul, and this would happen. I want to get your opinion, Memo, and I also want to get your opinion, Nick. Do you feel, and again, you don't got to answer. You be like, no, I'm going to pass. But if you feel comfortable, like I just finished saying, I believe in it. I think maybe half of the industry does sell their souls. But do you believe in that? Do you believe in somebody going ahead and selling their soul just to make it famous? We'll start with you, Memo.
1,000%.
All right.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I mean, all the evidence and all the you can make your own conclusion. Just do your own research. The biggest tool is YouTube. We're on it right now. You got the internet. Just do your research.
Yeah.
Come up with your own conclusion.
Nick, what do you think, man? Do you feel the same way, or do you feel something different? And I think Nick turning red. I think I'm turning red. Jesus Christ. For like a minute there, he was turning red.
Hey man, I'm not lying to you. I've been in that rabbit hole, and that rabbit hole can get really intense. And so, all I'll just piggyback on what Memo said. Draw into your own conclusion. The biggest tool we have is the internet, and it's open, and it's a jungle in there. So be careful. Don't get too lost, bro.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know it's a touchy subject, and I appreciate you guys answering, because, like, at the end of the day, man, I'm the type of person that likes to, dig deep even more. I don't want to go too deep, but yeah, I do. I am interested in this type of stuff. Like, whenever somebody tells me, hey, Frankie, the whole situation when it happened here in Miami about the aliens and stuff like that down in Bayside, I started doing research on this. I was like, wait, what's going on here? And I was looking at different angles and all that stuff, and I was like, man. And again, we talk sports here, but we also talk about everything else. I don't care. We want to talk about anything. We're going to talk about anything. And if it's entertaining and it's actually something that we could all relate and somebody has an opinion about it, we're going to talk about it. So at the end of the day, I do hope that Ryan Garcia, whatever he's going through, whether it's true or not, and whether it's just hyping the fight, I hope he stays okay. I hope he does get help if he needs it, and I hope that nothing happens to the kid, because I don't want any harm to him and to his family or anything like that, especially since he's mentioned that he's been threatened. And I'm pretty sure they probably don't threaten his family if this is what he technically has been told. So hopefully he's okay. And I hope he has a good fight against Devin Haney, because at the end of the day, I think that's going to be a good fight. I think at the end of the day, they're trying. It might be a money grab too, but I mean, I'm still going to watch it. I was going to watch it even before this whole situation. So that's how I feel about that, and I appreciate you guys talking about it. Anything else you wanted to mention, Memo or Nick, about this topic, or you want to move to the last one?
We can move
yeah, we can move to the last one.
All right. So last thing we wanted to talk about was a little bit about soccer. Obviously, the Inter Miami went ahead and traded DeAndre Yedlin, so he's gone. He left. Memo, you just saw him. You just saw him on Sunday, man.
That's news to me. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, they traded him.
I was off the radar today with ESPN and shit, so I wouldn't know.
They traded him, I believe, on Monday, so we lost him, and I guess they traded him to kind of open up some cap for like some money for Inter Miami, because obviously Messi and friends has been pretty pricey. But what do you guys think? Do you think this is gonna hurt Inter Miami? Do you think it's not gonna really matter? And then second of all, what did you guys feel as far as the performance this past Sunday, and what you think is going to happen tomorrow when they have to face against Nashville in the CONCACAF first game that they have? What do you think, Memo? Is it CONCACAF champion? Yeah, CONCACAF champion.
I think, I don't know. I thought that guy was pretty good. I mean, at first, when he first was playing, I think he was still getting adjusted to the team. At least from like last season when Messi came onto the squad. But I mean, I thought he did pretty good. I mean, he's always there. I mean, granted, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the last couple games. I mean, I'm not talking about last one, but the ones prior to that of Inter Miami, they weren't doing their best. They kept doing turnovers and stuff like that. But I guess we'll see. I mean, I also have heard rumors that Neymar supposedly wants to come into the MLS and essentially maybe even go to Inter Miami. So I don't know. That's the reason why they traded him. Again, I could be wrong. I saw something on Twitter or whatever X. So I mean, I don't know. There is rumors going around that Neymar wants to go to MLS.
Nick, talk to me, bro. What do you think?
It's a little odd for me that they let go of DeAndre Yedlin. I get it, the whole cap space thing. I know he was a very aggressive defender when it comes to the attack on the sides, but who do we have in the back? You get me? I know,
I don't know.
I know Jordi Alba, but he's one guy. Like he's been
No.
the best piece, and so Calendar. I mean, I know Drake. I know he's a great goalkeeper, but why are we dishing out pieces where we know we can't be dishing out? You know, I know our academy players are coming in. I haven't heard any rumors of any pickup of any sort, so I'm not really aware of it. I may be missing out, but for the time being, I really don't like the move. I think Messi is just one person, and he can do so much. The guy, we run through the team with him. Inter Miami Messi is key, but our weakness now is defense, and so why would we want to get rid of DeAndre Yedlin, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Especially with Sergio Busquets being used as a center back, sometimes he's a center defensive mid, and so you don't want to milk out Sergio Busquets either. You get me?
I mean, I'm one that vouch that says that Sergio Busquets is a amazing defender and a very good player for Inter Miami. I think if God forbid, but if he gets injured, man, that's gonna be a blow for us because
Hell yeah.
that guy runs like there's no tomorrow, and that guy develops a lot of plays, playing from that backfield. And Drake Callender is another one. I think he's really good. But again, just getting rid of DeAndre Yedlin just to open up some cap, I think you're putting more pressure on that defense, and you're also putting more pressure on Callender to deliver. And I know Callender is a very good goalkeeper, but man, you're kind of, you know, putting a lot on his plate, man. Like he can only do so much. So
I mean, let's see who's their backup behind Yedlin.
I mean, I
Don't
don't know.
have Grankowski, whatever the guy's name is, the one with the white guy with the G, or isn't he one of the defenders? I thought he was a center back in the defenders. Am I wrong?
Okay, so look, I'm looking at their roster right now. You had Jordi Alba as a defender. You have the guy you're talking about, Sergei Christoph is one. He's the
Chris, whatever his name is. Yeah.
yeah. He's the Ukrainian guy. Noah Allen is another guy who's a defender. Let me see who else. Tomas Aviles, who's been playing. He played in that Orlando game, so he was defending as well. There's a guy named Israel Boatwright. I've never heard of that guy.
neither.
Christopher McVeigh. He's another defender on the team. Those are the guys that I've seen here. I don't
See another
know.
kid named Ryan Saylor, 25 years old.
I mean, again, if you feel confident that you could bring those young bucks to come and defend, bro, then make it happen, bro. That's all I say. I mean, the more the merrier. That's the way I look at it, you know. So, but you just gotta make sure that I feel it might be a drop off a little bit, just a little bit from.
As long as Suarez is playing how Suarez is right now on one leg, imagine when he plays with two legs, bro.
Yo, what steroids? What roids did they give Suarez for him to be all like running and stuff like that? Because like those other games were very questionable, where he wasn't. Messi was giving him a nice pass and he just couldn't make it to the ball.
Well, the thing about Suarez is that I think a lot of people wanna like, say that he's playing hurt and that he's doing this and he's doing that. I mean, dude, Suarez is a key player. I've already mentioned this, and I did this on the Speak the Unspoken segment. I always thought that Suarez, even with one leg, would do better than any other number 9 that we have on the team. No offense to Campana, but I'm just being honest with you.
No, you're not wrong.
That's how I
He's
feel.
really on it.
That's how I feel. But besides that, I mean, the other thing we want to talk about was a little bit about champions. There were some results in tonight's leg. Obviously, Nick's team in Champions League tied, but also because they tied, they won and they moved on, and that was Real Madrid tying 1-1 against Leipzig. Man City beating Copenhagen 3-1. Um, Yesterday you had Real Sociedad lose to PSG 2-1. And Bayern Munich beat Lazio last night 3-0, which was a devastating blow in my eyes because I
Let's
had
go.
money. I had
I like
money
Bayern.
riding on Lazio, and Lazio let me down. But here's the thing before, because this is probably our last segment. My brother brought something up that is very interesting, and I wanted to get Memo's opinion on this as well.
Here we go.
And this is in reference to Paris Saint Germain. My brother says that the next Champions League winner is going to be PSG. That PSG is going to be the team to win Champions League this year. And he sent me some stats here that I was very intrigued, and I said, "Wow, this is interesting. I didn't know about this." So ESPN FC posted something, and I'll read it off. It says, back in 2020, PSG, before Lionel Messi, they made it to the final. In 2021, before Lionel Messi, they made it to the semifinal. When Messi joined PSG,
Here we go.
PSG got eliminated in a round of 16, and then they got eliminated in 2023 in the round of 16 again. And now Messi leaves, and now they have moved on to the quarterfinals. So we'll start with you, Nick. What are you trying to inform or insinuate here? Are you insinuating that maybe there's a possibility PSG was better off without Messi during the PSG era? Or are you insinuating that maybe, just maybe, when Messi left, Mampe said, "Yo, I'm taking over, and I gotta make this my team, and this is the reason why PSG is more successful."
You know, lately the past couple of years, you've had different clubs create, super teams and talented players, and so having to add Lionel Messi, I guess, I thought that was the key. But when you have too much talent, a coach that really doesn't know how to make sure that talent produces, it didn't pan out. I think Messi is one of the greatest players of all time, but it seems like in that system it just wasn't working. And every time either Neymar was not in the mix, or if it was just Neymar and Mampe, or just Mampe, it was just grooving. And right now, great players like Dembele, he's playing pretty well. They have a young Frenchman by the name of, I think his name is Barcola. He's pretty good right now. Donnarumma, the goalkeeper, has been playing really well. They have pieces like Asensio. They still have people like Marquinhos, and so they still have a good squad. I definitely feel like, and I told this to Fresco, I have PSG as my dark horse. I think Mampe has a chip on his shoulder. He wants to prove the world that he can win the Champions League without going to Real Madrid, and then he wants to prove to Real Madrid that the greatest purchase on Real Madrid history is coming in with a chip.
All right, Memo, talk to me, man. What do you think, man? Do you feel the same way? Do you feel that maybe PSG is better without Messi, or was it, or what's going on? Like, what happened?
I don't think. I mean, I want to piggyback on what Nick said. I mean, he's not wrong. When Messi would play in PSG, I don't know if the right word would be they weren't using him the right way, or maybe the plays weren't going the way Messi wanted, but he didn't look his strongest like he did, for example, like in Barcelona, or maybe even right now. I mean, you can't compare that league with the MLS, but you compare it to Barca. I mean, it wasn't the same for Messi. So I mean, congrats to PSG and congrats to Mbappe. Hopefully they can win it. I mean, it'll be dope to see. But I mean, as for them playing better with Messi, I mean, numbers don't lie. If that's the case, I guess I guess you guys are right with Messi leaving.
Well, I honestly feel that there was a little bit of both. You feel me? I feel it's a little bit of like Messi, because if you look at Messi's numbers in PSG, they were solid, man. I mean,
Yeah, they were.
I hate Messi. I'm
I
not
mean,
not hate. I troll Messi, but his numbers were
granted,
legit.
granted, I'm not gonna say it's all on Messi because I mean, again, Messi's just one player. But yeah, I mean, it could be a little bit of both. Maybe you know how it is. I mean, it has happened in Argentina where Messi doesn't get along with one of the players, and then like the plays become really stale.
That's a very good point.
Not only that, but I just feel like once you add more talent into a team, the other role players kind of feel like they gotta ease the pedal,
That's a
and
good
then
point.
just solely have to go based off on Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe. And we've learned that sometimes you don't need two or three superstars to be working together. You just need maybe that one superstar with a good role cast of players that really complement the guy who's going to be running the ball through. And so maybe there was just some sort of miscommunication, and there will be plays where maybe Mampe should have just gone all in. Maybe there were some plays where Messi should have gone all in, and they didn't do it because they were like, "Hey, let me just give it to each other." And so it just didn't work out. It's just a coincidence. I'm not lying to you how PSG doesn't do well when that guy's there. But remember, I mean, if you look at who they played against 2 years ago, they played against Real Madrid, which was the champion, and I believe the following year they played against, if I'm not mistaken, Man City. And
Okay.
so it's tough. It's tough. And so there's placement involved. And right now, I feel like every team is going through something. Bayern is kind of in a little funk. Real Madrid's hit with injuries. Um, if I'm not mistaken, Napoli and Barca are still going at it. So I think Napoli might dish out a win on that one, maybe. Just maybe. Atletico Madrid and if I'm not mistaken, it's Borussia Dortmund or Inter Milan. They don't really look too strong either. And so I feel like PSG right now, there's a lot of things going good for them.
Yeah,
The only thing that might hold them back is the injury, and that's it.
and I think another thing that plays a key role in when you had such a stacked team when it comes offensively is the fact that you need to have the right coach. If you don't have the right coach who knows how to manage them, that's gonna hurt them at the end in the long run. Look at in basketball. I know it's a different sport, but look in basketball. Look when you had Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden, and that didn't work out. You feel me? So it's like look at the Miami Heat when they had the big three. You needed a good coach like Eric Spoelstra to make it happen. So I always have always said that a coaching is very, very vital in any sport, especially in a team sport, in order for you to have success. So
And Luis Enrique is a really experienced coach, and so I think he's really he has a groove right now in the Champions League.
absolutely. Memo man, I want to go ahead and thank you, man, for joining us. I know you worked out in the
Sure, thanks for
gym.
the invite.
You know you're showing those guns out there for us, and hopefully we can have you more on board. I appreciate it, and like I said, we'll probably bring you back maybe after the Ryan Garcia fight. I know you're a big boxing fan, so you follow boxing a
I'm
lot
gonna
more than I
definitely be
do.
tuning in.
So we'll definitely we might have a little wager. You never know. Maybe I go for Ryan Garcia. I know Ryan Garcia is not your favorite boxer, but I mean he's not my favorite, but I still think it should be a competitive fight between him and Devin Haney. To be honest with you.
We'll see what happens. I don't know if he's gonna beat Haney, but if you want to bet, let me know.
All right, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you so much, and please make sure
Guys.
next time you come, remove that hashtag. We don't like that hashtag here, sir.
Yo, where is CM Dump when you need him, bro? He wasn't on the chat today. I wonder what happened.
No, but I saw somebody made a comment of CM Punk somewhere around here. I just didn't post it on the thing, but I saw him write something. I saw him. Somebody said something about CM Punk being a quarterback or something like that for the
Nah,
Dolphins
man.
or
Right
something like
now on the driver's seat is Drew McIntyre. Don't
Drew
do it.
McIntyre all day.
that. Yeah, see, somebody wrote move CM Punk to QB, and then his name is no P for me, R. Kelly. Come on, man. Who is this troll? Like I saw that, I was like, I'm not posting that, but now you got your little 5 seconds of fame. Your whatever, Mr. R. Kelly. All right, man. Memo, thank you, brother. I appreciate you
All right,
coming through,
guys, take
bro.
it easy, man.
Have a
Peace.
good night, bro. Later, bro. All
You too.
right, got it. All right, and then obviously the last thing, but not the worst thing. We're leaving the best for last, and of course, it is that time that we all like to go ahead and have, and it's our segment, Speak the Unspoken.
Yes, yes, yes. And today's edition of Speaking of the Unspoken is pretty short, it's relatively short, but I just wanted to, have a little bit of a little talk about it. And it's talking about the Miami Dolphins. Right now with the wide receiver group, we have great players like Tyreek, we have great youth coming in like Waddle and Eric Izukama. But at the end, we also have lost a lot of pieces. Chosen, Carcraft, we even used Chase Claypool, and he wasn't really something that panned out. Our boy Barrios, hopefully, maybe something pans out. But for in the meantime, I kind of want to go ahead and circle a date that was pretty particular and very, very interesting. And it was February 10th of this year. Um, I would like to share that on February 10th, 2024, our boy Jarvis Landry tweeted out, "I want to wear 14 again." And when he tweeted that, I didn't want to take too much mind into it, but later on I found out that he's been working out with different teams such as the Colts. And so I think he's ready to come back. I think he's ready to do a second drive. And how can I not love one of my favorite wide receivers through the 2010 era as our boy Juice? Juice. And so, I want to ask the audience, ask everybody, how do you feel about adding a veteran player, a fan favorite player such as Juice? I know he hasn't been playing for a year now. However, and I know he's had injuries in the past, but he can come back. He's a strong player. I think he can be productive. He was a great slot receiver for us. And I think why not chime in and knock out that door and tell Greer and Mike McDaniel, look, man, if you want a solid number 4, maybe solid number 3, and have someone that can help us on the end zone. He's a really good slot receiver. He's a great route runner. He's a tough catcher. He's a tough tackler. He brings a lot of experience. He brings leadership and he brings grit. And that's, I think, what we need in this wide receiver group. Right now, I saw this year we were getting tossed around. We were getting, bullied out there in the playoffs. And so I feel like bringing in someone like Juice, why not? Give him give him more time. And I think, something can pan out. And for me to see that he tweeted, "I want to wear 14 again." And I had to make sure too, because I had to look. I was like, when did he wear 14 aside from the Dolphins? He wore number 80 in the Cleveland Browns and he wore number 5 in the New Orleans Saints. So that indicates he wants to come back. Come home, baby. Come back home, Juice. We want you. That's who I want. What about you guys? How do you feel? Leave a comment. Share it with your friends out there. And let's see. Let's see what happens.
Sir, that was an amazing take. And of course, Juice. We love you, Juice. I miss Juice. I'm not gonna lie, probably one of my favorite wide receivers of all time, Juice. And I agree with you, man. I think that would be a hell of a pickup.
Comes
man.
in a cheap package, 2-3 mil year, 1 year deal, and just work it out.
Maybe the league minimum even 500,000.
Hey, he tweeted it out. He tweeted it out February 10th, 2024, bro. And
Wow,
and bro, all the comments on the section of the Miami Dolphins were, "Come back, bro, come back."
Did he really? Can you show me where Juice is? Like,
look up at God_son 80.
All right, hold on a second. I got you. At God underscore
80.
Underscore 80.
And that 0 is like a
Okay, I see him. Juice. Let's see. I used to follow Juice and then I stopped. Oh, I see it. Jesus Christ. Hold on a second. Nick, man, this is crucial information you're bringing here to the podcast. Jesus Christ.
I want to wear 14 again. Whoa. When I saw that, I said, wait.
There he is. He wrote it. There it is. And then look what somebody, I don't know who KG is, but probably a fan. But there he is, Juice. Said it February the 10th. He wants to wear 14 again. You know what? I'm going to like it. There you go, Juice. I'm liking it. And I'm going to repost it just for the fans. Repost it there. 140 reposts. Damn, you could tell that Juice has been losing a lot of fans ever since he left the Dolphins. That's the reason why, man. I bet you How many fans does he have on this? He has.
See, look, that if you click on the post again, if you click on the post again,
Oh, my bad. Hold on. Yes, sir. Here's the post.
look who shows up there. Come back, Juice. Come back, Juice. Come back, man.
I want to retweet that.
Come back,
that
man.
guy Nick, that way Nick is legit. He knows.
Follow that guy. Follow him at that way, Nick.
Oh my God, look at that. People, if you're watching and tuning into the show, I want you to go to this thread right now, hit that like, and post it and say, yo, Juice, we want you back as a Dolphin, sir. Podcast, Let Me Talk to You went ahead and supporting you to come back and make it back to the Miami Dolphins. Wow, what a way to end the show. Guys, thank you so much again for everybody who tuned in. I know you guys have been watching. I mean, we've had a kind of steady group watching. Thank you everybody on Twitter or X. Thank you everybody on Twitch, and thank you everybody here on YouTube. Of course, no doubt. Chad Memo for showing up as a guest, and I will go ahead and mention his name again. I don't know who this guy is, but shout out to No P for Me, R. Kelly. Thank you, sir, also for making your troll presence available. But make sure you follow us in all social media platforms. Fresco Music. You're more than welcome to go ahead and also follow me on Instagram, on X, on Facebook. And another thing is check me out on Twitter. And right there you see it on the scrolling down. My Twitter information, Fresco Music _DJ. I will go on live after the show. I'm gonna try to see if I can go ahead and do at least an hour stream for you guys. So I'll be DJing. I know the guys and gals who are watching on Twitter. I'll be back on in about maybe 20 minutes. Just gotta set up everything all over again. I gotta move my computer from one side to the other side. That way I could go ahead and get everything done. But check me out. Nick, where can the fans find you?
You can find me at Twitter or X at that way Nick. The guy who wrote back come back Juice. That was me actually. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe. Again, this is a blessing doing this with my brother. We know we like to talk sports all the time, and we're human beings too. We're just trying to get in grooves and things, and having to learn this process, this podcast. It's been a great journey, and talking about journeys, I always feel like we gotta leave on a positive note. And on that being said, let me drop a little quote for you guys. Michael Jordan said, "Always turn a negative situation into a positive situation." Very straightforward, man. I know things may be, a cloud raining under your head, but always think positive. Try to be, as much as you can do when it comes to difficult situations. Come through, be your best self, and always turn that negative into a positive. You guys can do it. The Trapio out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Let Me Talk to You, episode 17 in the books. We'll see you next week, God willing. Anybody out there, make sure you share with your friends. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Check me out on Twitch. Sign up with my brother DiTrapio on his social media. Check out Sean's YouTube channel as well. Sean Stanley Sports Talk. And guys, thank you so much. Without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this show. Well, probably we would be doing it, but it makes it more entertaining when you guys chime in. So thank you once again, guys. And hopefully next week, episode 18. In the meantime, we're out of here. Let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you.
The biggest icon in wrestling.